I'm going to ask one final question, and this one is going to be of Don, actually. Don is the current president of the group American Abstract Artists, which was originally founded back in 1936, literally by a group of artists that wanted to provide opportunities and dialogue for their work. Now, Don has been the president of this group since 2004?
Yeah.
So a good 6 years already. And I guess my question for you, Don, is after 75 years, because it's approaching the 75th anniversary at this point, and countless of abstract sort of art movements already on the art history books, you know, why does a group like this still persist?
We all still seek dialogue with each other. And one of the things I love about this organization is that it provides a link to the history. I talk to a lot of young artists who don't seem to know like where things came from and developed, and I think that that's really an important part of being an artist and maintaining a dialogue with previous work. And you know, if you're interested in developing, you have to know where things come from. I mean, you did the same thing by, you know, creating Mindspace because there wasn't a forum for representing the ideas that you were interested in. Mm-hmm. You know, the American Abstract Artists organization can't be what it was, you know, in the 30s because abstraction is fairly well accepted within the art world, but the general public still has some issues with it. But we're not fighting as hard to justify ourselves. And it's also, you know, abstraction is a very vague word. It's not a movement per se. It's always changing. And that to me is one of the things that's, you know, keeps it vital because we can't just, you know, work in a genre and expect it to be interesting if it, you know, just kind of repeats the same thing. So having dialogue is important to generate new ideas. You know, things change, and the reason for the AA being around is it's going to change over time. There's always been, even within the group, there's been divisions between, like when it started, stylistic concerns were a big, you know, like life and death issue between people. There weren't any gestural abstract painters in the organization until the 60s. But within the geometric artists of the group, there was a divide there because there was a faction that was into neoplasticism, following Mondrian and his ideas that, you know, Harry Holzman was one of the founders, was a proponent of. But Esfir Slobodnica, who was also one of the founders, was into more of a Cubist-derived kind of a collage, sort of, you know, putting together of images. So those two didn't get along. She was a very feisty woman. I also, the organization always had a large percentage of women that were a part of it from the very beginning. When you look at the sort of canonized history of the abstract expressionists, you know, there's like 1 or 2 women in the photos with the group, and you know, I'm very proud to say that the AAA always accepted more input from women artists, and they continue to be a large part of the organization. You
know, it's funny, when you were, Lenora, when you were showing the images of the group exhibitions from the 1950s, it looked exactly like a show that the American Abstract Artists had put together at St. Peter's College here in Jersey City like 3 years ago. I mean, it was almost indistinguishable in a very good way. I mean, in a very good way. Yeah, it's remarkable how these sort of ideas continue. They persist.